What's going on, man? This is Tap In, the hottest podcast in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I am your humble host, Jeremy Oneall, and I got my famous co-host with me, Marsell Basi, in the building.
Yes, sir. You know I'm in the building. I'm always lit. I'm always live, and we here.
And as we do every week, we tapping in, we bringing y'all the hottest news in entertainment, business, health, whatever it is. Whatever y'all want to talk about, we completely open to it.
Yes.
So as always, man, let's just get into it. What's on the flow for today, bro?
Yeah, man. So I like to get a little personal. I want to tap into our perspectives.
Let's do it.
Get people, kind of hip with what's going on in our minds. That's how we like to start it. So I got a little quote. Here. So it goes: "The pleasure principle in thinking is the source of all our mental biases."
The pleasure principle in thinking is the source of all our mental biases.
You know what I mean? The pleasure principle. So
let's break that down.
Now, so first, biases.
Biases.
Let's just get into biases itself. What is a bias? So we got two definitions. We got the Google definition. We got the dictionary.com.
Mm-hmm.
So dictionary.com, they says bias is a particular tendency, trend, inclination, feeling, or opinion, especially one that is preconceived or unreasoned. So a particular tendency, trend, inclination, feeling, or opinion.
Right. So yeah, I'm a dumb nigga. So you gotta definitely simplify that. Shit.
All right. So that's dictionary.com. Now we're going to go to Google. Right. Let's see if Google is a little more dumbed down for us.
For the dumb niggas.
All right, so Google.com, they got prejudice in favor of or against one thing.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
I say prejudice, but it's prejudice.
Prejudice.
All right, so a prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared to another person, group, or thing.
So kind of like closed-minded, only seeing things from one side, pretty much. Gotcha.
That's just a prejudice. You know what I mean? So you got a particular tendency, and then you got a prejudice.
Right.
Both mean the same thing in a sense.
Okay.
My perspective on a bias is pretty much like someone who, has influences, has things that's happened to them.
Right.
That pretty much leads them to think or feel a certain way about a thing.
Gotcha. Depending on how they grew up, what they've been through,
exactly.
their background, things like that.
So yeah, whatever has happened to them.
Gotcha.
It kind of involves in how they feel or think about certain things.
I can dig.
You know what I mean?
I can dig that. So it's like, would you prefer light skinned women or dark skinned women?
Right, and I'm brown skinned.
Brown skin. But so, what in your background made you want to be like, I only prefer dark-skinned women?
Because I didn't grow up around light-skinned women.
There we go.
I didn't grow up around chocolate women.
There we go.
You know what I mean? Like, people in my family, they brown-skinned, so I'm seeing them doing their thing. I get to school. I got the varieties, but, I'm so used to brown skin. Exactly. I'm thinking that's a bias.
Right, it is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a bias.
Right.
Like, my mama, my sister, my grandma, my auntie, like, my cousin, they brown skin.
Would you tap into anything else?
Of course.
Okay,
I'm attracted.
Gotcha.
I'm attracted, but, my preference, is brown skin, but attraction, white, black, Asian, you feel me?
Anybody.
Is Latina.
Anybody.
What I? What's popping? You feel me?
I can dig that.
You know what I mean? So, but back to the, the actual, point is, the pleasure principle.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much the basis of our bias, the
right.
pleasure principle. So,
right.
even when it comes to food, you know what I mean? Like, I'm used to, I grew up on pork, hamburger helper, pork chops. I grew up on all these things, barbecue. And you ask me, what's my favorite food? I'm going to say barbecue.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, barbecue food.
I've seen this man cook, because we lived together for a short period of time. Mm-hmm. I've seen this man cook 7 days out the week. All 7 days, right? but use a different barbecue sauce every single day.
But baked chicken every day.
Same chicken,
but
different barbecue sauce.
The sauce is
This nigga really had 7 different barbecue sauces. And each day, he thought it was a different meal. Like, bro, I cooked you some barbecue chicken. He's not the barbecue from last night. Not that. But this is spicy habanero. It got some honey in there. It got some jalapenos and honey barbecue. This. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, bet, whatever. Okay, then.
But that's a fact, though. So, yeah. But that's my bias.
Right.
You know, I love barbecue food. You know what I mean? I love some ribs. You know, I love spaghetti. That's another bias. But it's because I ate spaghetti a lot. It was one of the best meals that I ate.
I feel you on that. And I think I feel you on that, too, because I love seafood. And we grew up eating seafood.
Facts.
But, ooh.
See, I'm late to the seafood party.
Exactly.
I'm late.
And so this is another thing, too, that I'm thinking about. So, like, even with the bias part, like the way that you, because mainly it goes into play like how you was raised, like what you was taught as young. Right. That pretty much goes, that's going to be your go-to, like, when you get older. Mm-hmm. So, like,
it's like a natural reaction to things.
Exactly.
In general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's how you was trained. Like, we both had dogs. Well, you got a dog currently. I had a dog before. You train her to do a certain thing, and then that's what she's going to continue to do.
Exactly.
Until she learns something new.
Exactly.
Or even if she open to doing anything.
Right, because if she don't learn nothing new, she's going to do what I taught her to do.
Exactly, for the rest of her life.
For the rest of her life. So, facts.
But my point about that was saying, because a couple months ago I tried doing vegan, right? But see, I never grew up with nothing like that. I never knew anybody who had, like, different diets. Who never did, like, the Atkins diet and all that kind of shit that when we was growing up. So when I tried vegan, that's why it was so much harder to get out of that, because it was almost like trying to retrain myself, kind of, sort of. And I don't know if that fits into, like, the bias conversation. Yeah, that's...
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because my mom, she's a carnivore. She's completely carnivorous. Facts. My mom, carnivorous. Facts.
Okay.
So, like, her thing would be, when she had breakfast, I remember her saying this, she would have to have her coffee, but it couldn't be like no oatmeal, no bagel, no nothing like that. Her main thing was it had to be meat included in my breakfast.
Okay.
Every single time.
Okay.
There had to be some type of meat included. And I ain't talking about no goddamn hamburger patty or nothing like that. She dead ass making pork chops or steaks. Yes,
for breakfast?
Sausages, yes, like real meat for breakfast.
Okay.
And I'm like, lit. Exactly. So I was like, damn. So when it came time for me to try the vegan thing, I couldn't do that shit. I did it for like 2 weeks. I'm like, man, this is not me. Maybe because I ain't want to put forth the effort to actually stand the test of time and actually do the shit. But I feel you though. The way you was raised, the way you was brought up on doing things definitely has
and that matters. And it plays into everything. And, you know, it starts in your personal life. You know what I mean? Like, it starts in your personal life, but it can trickle down to every aspect, from relationships, from business, from anything. You know, like, in relationships, we have certain biases. You know, to what we prefer. You know, what we think is acceptable, how we want our relationship to be. And, you know, you can be correct or you can be blocking your blessing. Right. And when it comes to business, we have biases and we could be clueless. That's the problem with biases. You know what I mean? Like, you can create a bias about something and have no idea
of anything else.
Like, you can create a bias about something and have no clue what it is. Right. Or what happened, what's going on, but how can you have an opinion or an inclination or anything like that about something you have no idea about?
Or even trying to be, so even with having an opinion, how can you be understanding of something that you really don't even know about for real?
Like, how?
Like, let's say, before I tried the vegan thing, me just growing up the way I grew up, if you was vegan, I'll probably look at you like, boy, you on some bullshit.
Right. Exactly, but that's just the personal bias.
Exactly.
Yet they in a whole bag.
Exactly.
Like that same person is in a whole bag. Life is getting marvelous.
Exactly.
Health is improving. You know what I mean? Daily in a whole bag.
And I still feel like that. I see,
Like
I got we got a vegan friend or a vegetarian, vegan / whatever.
Yeah.
Sitting there eating seaweed sandwiches, like boy,
taking the pepperoni off the pizzas,
off the pizza,
taking off all the meat off the pizza.
Man, that shit disrespectful. That shit disrespectful as hell.
What's going on?
That shit's completely disrespectful.
Why you taking the shit off the? You taking the goodies off the pizza?
Taking the pepperoni off of pepperoni pizza. Why you ain't just order cheese? It tastes better if I pull the pepper. Hey, bro, get your ass up out of here.
You need them meat oils on there. That's what it is.
Get your ass up out of here.
You need them pepperoni oils on that.
Get up out of here, bro. Get up out of here.
Because it ain't the same without the oils.
I'm gonna have to tap out on you, bro.
And that taste.
I'm gonna have to tap out on you for sure. But when you bring up the bias of the business thing and how you move in business, I wanted to ask you this. So what were what created your biases as far as, because I mean, you're a great photographer, you got a great clientele as well. What created your biases as far as just the way that you handle business?
Oh man, so all right, so the way I got into photography was kind of humbug, but I really take it serious because I like to take things serious once I get introduced or once I'm really intrigued. So I took photography serious, and I was on Instagram, and I was kind of like pretty much like seeing what I would love to do myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
right.
That was the beginning of creating biases in my industry.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? As far as what I'm doing, I'm looking at people, Instagram pages as photographers. I'm looking at their pages like, I don't want to do that. That's cool. That's dope. I would love to do. That's dope. You know what I mean? Right. So I start creating biases like that. And then it wasn't until I was actually experiencing those actual type of gigs. I'm actually doing these type of gigs or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just like, this not enough.
Right.
That's the only way I'm starting to shatter bias after bias, as far as in the entrepreneur realm.
Right.
Because I'm like, nah, there's more. Instead of just doing this type of photography, I need to get into events, clubs, weddings. You know what I mean? But had I just was stuck on the mindset, as me introducing into this, and when I like the biases that I did create, I'll just be doing like sexy women.
The same thing.
I'll be trying to do like the sexy vibe, the lingerie, like something, or like a nice fashion, a nice outfit, or whatever the case may be. Instead of it's so many bags I can hop into.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that gives me a great question. So I'm gonna go gooch deep. If y'all don't know what gooch deep is, y'all gotta tune into the last episode.
Tune into the last episode. You got gooch deep.
I'm gonna go gooch deep.
All right.
So check me out. As far as like we talk about biases, that's always just doing almost like chaotic, just always doing the same thing. How you was trained to do something.
Right.
So where does the mindset come from to even be open to doing something different that you're not even used to for real? Because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll continue on the path that they have been doing. And if you bring up something new, like we just mentioned before, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm completely against it. I'm not open to it. So how do you create a space in your own mind to say, I'm open to that, even though it's something I have no idea what the fuck that is, but I mean, I'm cool with it.
Right.
And a lot of people are scared to try new shit.
Right.
So how do you create that to be open to just different shit outside of your normal way of doing things? Like I don't know.
No, so like I've been watching Mike Tyson's podcast.
Mike Tyson, okay.
Yeah, hot boxing, man. I don't know if anybody's hip on Mike Tyson's podcast, but it's very good. He's interviewing some great people, so it's a very interesting podcast.
Right.
So I'm checking out his stuff, and he says a great point, and it kind of like hit home with me. hit home with me. Like fear. Like fear is like one of the biggest driving forces. Right. You know, some people go harder, you know, out of fear. Right. You know, some people like fear, you know, and that's what his point was. He like he was in fear throughout his whole career, but that's what pushed him forward. You know what I mean? And like it's always an aspect of things. You know what I mean? Like fear is like, rather you doing good, you always got that fear of, if I fold, all this shit can be in. You feel me? Like I cannot be doing good tomorrow. So the fear is pushing them more and more and more not to fold.
And just the fear being there, period. Like you ain't even gotta think about this shit.
Right, like
just the fact that this makes me nervous and uncomfortable.
That anxiety,
I'm not fucking with
the feeling, you feel me? And it can hinder you.
Exactly.
You know, there's the other side of the spectrum, you know, where that it can, you know, demolish you, and it can, you know, have you just strangled, you know, just closed in. So I would say I'm moving toward, I've kind of been in the middle of that spectrum, you know, as far as like being hindered and being motivated, right? You know, with the fear, right? But now I'm realizing, you know, that perspective, you know, outside of the Mike Tyson podcast. So the fear, I'm moving towards the spectrum where fear is pushing me more and more and more. Gotcha. You know, because I'm taking more things on my shoulders. You know, I'm understanding more things about myself, and it's just like the fear is pushing me to go harder and harder. Because I don't want to go back. Right. I have no choice but to move forward.
Exactly. I feel you on that.
You know what I mean? I have no choice but to move forward.
So we can pretty much come to an agreement that the only two ways that you can deal with fear is either conquer or conform.
I believe that.
Facts.
I believe
Big
that.
Big facts. And I feel you on that too.
I believe that.
And especially like with me just jumping on, like we was talking about last week, as far as like just getting out of the mindset of actually leaving a job and creating a whole business, that's a fear by itself. Yes. Because all of us are taught how to maintain and completely keep a job. So with me, I think what it was for me is actually, because I dealt with fear, like uncomfortable situations a lot just growing up. That's pretty much how I was raised. Okay. And it was pretty much like, you got to do it. See, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. So we would, of course, you know, we would go from like door to door, which is completely nerve-wracking.
So you actually was doing door to door.
Yeah, as a child.
Trying to sell the Jesus concept.
Try to have conversations about the Bible. And, Facts. We would go door to door. The second thing is like how you have preachers and pastors in the church giving sermons on the stage, things like that. We would give our talks off the stage too, in front of a lot of different people. Okay. So just those two aspects alone.
That's terrifying.
Being able, yes, as a child,
that's terrifying.
Being able to go from door to door to these random people trying to talk to them about the Bible and religion, that was a whole conference thing.
Terrifying.
Then secondly, getting up into a group of people, standing up on stage, and then actually trying to guide them, preach to them pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty convince.
Exactly. Or just tell about different
expose them.
Exactly.
Okay, expose them.
Tell about different just different my own understanding of different scriptures and stuff like that.
Okay, facts.
So those two big things for me as a child,
terrifying.
God, it was completely terrifying. But then as I got older, and you know me too, I'm like one of the people who, if you say, hey, let's do this, I'm one of the first ones to be like, let's jump out here and do it.
Let's get it popping.
Without anybody even saying anything.
Let's get it popping. Like,
you talking about, you want to go skydiving? I'm there.
Let's get it popping.
You talking about rock climbing? I'm there.
Hey, what up?
You talking about any of that kind of stuff, anything that,
That's facts.
I think I realized that's where that came from for real. Just being open to conquering your fears for real. And that pretty much led me, of course, to opening a business.
Which is a never-ending, daunting task.
Always.
Like, even if you conquer one fear, the next fear is still a daunting task. Like, but once you build that habit, right, of really facing your fears,
Right.
like there's nothing that's gonna stop you.
Right. And it's when I enter new territory, like doing something that makes me completely uncomfortable that I never done before. It's I mean, I still get that nervous, uncomfortable feeling.
Right. The butterflies.
Right.
Right.
But it's still my reaction time to it is like extremely. It ain't even too much to think about. Like when I got my first customer with the moving gig, of course I'm completely nervous. This is my first job. This is my
I don't know what to expect.
yeah. This is my first moving gig. Like this is my first time jumping out here on my own. I'm completely nervous. I done already rented this truck and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to the customer's house. I'm finna have a whole consultation. We finna have a whole conversation. I'm actually finna go here, do some work, and expect to get paid what I want to get paid for this.
Right.
Terrified. Scared as fuck. You could have probably put that experience in a Jordan Peele movie for real. Shit was fucking terrifying.
With every aspect of that literal job on your shoulders.
Yes.
Every aspect.
Right, exactly. That's
you know
another
what
aspect.
I mean? Like, it ain't just like somebody handling things for you.
Right, and bringing it to me.
You just got to show up, do your job, and go home.
Right, I got to deal with before.
Every aspect of that job is on your neck.
Exactly.
On top of you demanding a certain amount.
Exactly.
More than you ever requested.
Exactly.
More than you ever was paid prior to this, venture.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that shit was, and that's what I said about my reaction time. Like, it didn't take it. All of that came into my mind. Like all of that, like, oh shit, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got to worry about. It's like I said, being an owner, you got to worry about the before, middle, and the end.
Yes.
And me being on the job too, that's a whole nother stress factor into it. But like I said,
and just touching like, all right, so you thinking. If you're not an entrepreneur and you just got this perspective in your mind, like, I want to be an entrepreneur, you don't think how much the end is important.
Right.
You think, like, all right, let me just get the beginning and the middle, once we, and I can slide.
Lock in the job, do the job, that's it.
Never. No, but that end.
Right.
I watched you work, and that end matters, yes. Dog.
When it's time to pay that cheese, motherfuckers start acting funny as hell.
Real.
That's when you get real nervous. Niggas start acting crazy as hell. That's definitely
that end ain't no joke.
When it's time to pay that invoice, cause people are like, hey, wait a minute now. Hey, I saw your left toe stick over the line. I can't fuck with you like that. You said y'all charge how much? Shit, I know I said I was cool with it at first, but goddamn. Goddamn.
So yeah, every aspect of that job matters.
Facts. Big facts.
Like beginning to end.
Facts.
So I understand that. Just watching people game and dealing with my own.
So jumping back to the biases, man, I would definitely say, man, be open to do something completely different that you never have done before.
I agree.
And what I compared it to is when you get that uncomfortable feeling because you enter into like some uncharted thing that you haven't done before, to me that's growth. Like you've never done that before and you actually have the courage to do something completely different. Now, once you get through that experience, you have a completely different aspect on life, that experience,
Facts.
After that experience, anything before,
Facts.
And even any other experiences that come after
Facts.
that. It's a whole different thing. So I would definitely encourage anyone, if you are feeling uncomfortable about something or fearful of something that you want to do, but maybe it's not the right time, maybe you feel like it's not the right time, maybe circumstances aren't right for you right now, whatever you tell yourself to make you more anxious, to make you more nervous, that's all more the reason to do that shit.
Yes, that will push you.
Off top.
Like, I just feel like, being comfortable, you would never, being comfortable don't give you that
Right.
That,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it takes that pressure. It takes, having your back to the wall sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because, like I said, I ain't say it, but I honestly feel like whenever you go through, like, the toughest things the hardest things to conquer, those are the lessons that's like the most appreciated for real.
The most powerful.
Like
facts.
that's if somebody was to just do it for you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
Cool. And you go about your business.
And you damn near, you wouldn't really understand.
You wouldn't.
You know,
wouldn't.
like it takes for you to
try to conquer your fears. Don't necessarily just run away from them. It's a reason why. It's the reason why they're fears, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, do it. That's my complete understanding, to be honest.
Like for real.
Facts. Speaking of fears, actually.
Corona.
Speaking of fears, what my dog said? Coronavirus.
Like my baby is like in an uproar.
Yeah.
Like she's in an uproar. He, she, coronavirus, however, whatever gender.
Mm-hmm.
She's in an uproar.
Mm-hmm. And it's like we stand about, like we said last week, man. This is a real thing for real. A lot of I know California is completely on shutdown.
Wow.
Complete curfew status. We on the East Coast. We in Georgia right now. So a lot of the cities in Georgia as well, especially in the Atlanta metro area, they're also getting quarantined and curfewed out.
No, Italy really been like getting smacked with it, but they're doing better. But I think it was like 2 days ago, they had a 30% death rate.
Damn.
30%, bro, from the virus. 30% like throughout their country.
Fuck.
So, but I watched a news clip today. It dropped today.
Mm-hmm.
They had less people got exposed today, less deaths today. But bro, they had 297 deaths in one day.
Shit.
Almost 300 deaths in one day.
Damn.
Like so this thing ain't nothing to play with.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? Like.
The good thing
and
is
it's still growing.
Right, it is. The good thing is I heard it's getting better, or I think the death toll for China within the last few days actually got lowered too.
No, China got it on the lock. Like I was talking to my mom about this, and like China dealt with SARS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's another strand of the coronavirus. That was the most recent strand before this one.
Right.
You know, so China know how to deal with this virus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they've been like the corona. Like I feel like, and then they dealing with these animals, these wild animals, where the virus even came from, which was bats.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure. Air quotes bats. I'm not sure if it was bats or not, but that's what we're told through the media.
Now, mind you, this ain't just start happening March, April. This been going on since like low key last year for real.
Did you see that article? Kobe Bryant's article. Bro, I'm on Facebook. Kobe Bryant, the day he passed away, January 27th. You know, this is the day the article came out. The day he passed away, he's on the cover. Excuse me. Kobe Bryant, you know, demise. Unfortunate.
R.I.P. the GOAT.
You know, R.I.P. to the GOAT.
Number 8, number 24.
You know, but right next to Kobe Bryant's article, they had scientists on the scramble for coronavirus vaccine.
I bet nobody paid attention.
5 people been diagnosed in America. You know, 5 cases in America. This is January 27th.
Right.
They already having, 5 cases in January. Scientists on scrambling for vaccine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that was overshadowed because of Kobe death. You know, Kobe shut it down for like 3, 4 days, 5 days when that happened.
So with the U.S., I think we was actually looking that up today too. So right now we had a number of cases so far is over actually 60,000. To be exact, is 63,109. That's as of 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 25th. And the number of deaths is like over 800. So yeah. The good thing is it's not Italy bad. It's not the 10%.
Not 30%.
I mean, it's not 30%. Thank God.
Sheesh.
So it's not that bad. Good news is there has been a approved decision of the stimulus package that the government was talking about for handing everybody out since they been out of work and can't really make ends meet like
So
they
they
normally would.
approved the stimulus package?
Well, it got voted on. It was a conversation about it.
Yeah, because I was reading about it.
Right. It got voted on. It was a conversation today. So what's in play, if for those who don't know about this at all?
Okay.
So the plan was negotiated. They had a conversation about it actually earlier today, on the 25th. It was earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
So what happened is all single Americans would receive $1,200. Any married couples, of course, receive double that, $2,400. And parents receive like $500 for each child. That's all under the age of 18.
Okay.
Now they didn't necessarily say as to when. Well, it hasn't even been approved yet. Like I said, the conversation just started. They happily accepted the conversation and made an agreement on what could happen if this got approved.
Okay.
So what happened is it's pretty much going to be based off of your income from your gross income from, I think, like 2018. So if you made more than 70, I think it was 75,000, then of course those payments would apply to you, the 1,200, 2,400, and then the 5 for the kids. But if you made more than like 99, then yeah, I appreciate y'all for doing y'all hard work. But yeah, they ain't get nothing.
You ain't touching shit for real.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
But and I think it's like stipulations based on the amount of money that you actually made. To you, there is a threshold. Like you do have to make, I think it was like $3,500 at least in order to even qualify for the $1,200. So let me go ahead and get the record straight. You have to qualify for this stimulus package.
Yeah, you ain't
off top.
no money.
Everybody ain't just finna get a check for real. For real. You gotta qualify for this. Gotcha. And if you don't fall up on the qualifications, then
you're screwed.
You don't follow.
You're screwed.
Qualification. Simple as that. The good thing is too, to all my students, because I know we both got college friends that's still in school. They actually gonna be suspending payments on the student loans until September 30th, according to the bill that's hopefully will get passed.
Thank God I can use that.
Yeah, so you got until
I can use
let's
that.
see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. You got 7 months to get your shit together, and you got to start paying your school. Pretty much. That's pretty much what they saying.
That's what they doing.
So yeah, try to save as much cheese. I know you ain't working. I know college students ain't not working at all. But if you is working, the McDonald's checks, all that kind of shit, kind of stash it to the side. Like, you cool for right now. Yeah, you good for right now. Just know.
Stack something.
Just know when October hit. Yeah.
Coins is back taken out.
Exactly.
They need their coins.
Exactly.
Man, I knew it was real. I called my phone company, Sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I called Sprint. I'm like, so what y'all doing about this?
I call all my bills. For I ain't even gonna cap. I called all. As soon as I heard like one company was like showing some love, I called everybody.
I called it like, what y'all doing about this?
And I called Rent Center, nigga. I called the leasing office. I called the gas, water, and light bill. I called my cell phone. Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Hey, they want their coins.
Hey, the funny thing is,
they want their coins.
The funny thing is, my wife was telling me this today. I was like, cause she got an email from the leasing company, from the rental office. She was like, hey, they just sent over an email, said, attention coronavirus update. I'm like, oh shit, we finna get like some money off from the rent. She was like, oh no, they just said you gotta make your payments online. I said, damn, shit.
Just don't come inside.
Just don't come inside. You can't bring in no money order.
But I still need my coins.
You can definitely make that payment online.
I still need my coins.
They put up, I think she was telling me like they completely redesigned the website. Make it look somewhere. Yeah, go in there. I know y'all getting sick and everything. It's a pandemic out here with the curfew and the lockdown.
So stay at home.
Right. Stay at home.
But send me my money.
Don't bring your payments to the office. Just log in online and make the full payment still. Like, God damn. Shit.
So Sprint said, I give you 60 days. You know, I ain't gonna cut your phone off for 60 days. But just know your bill don't stop.
Back.
It's still running up.
To be completely honest, hey, I know these people giving us leeway because that don't mean like this shit ain't finna stop.
It ain't stopping
When this shit get back rolling, you gon'
you 2 months, 3 however long you behind.
Hey.
And they want their coins still.
So I say hustle, do your thing, still get your little dollars,
please.
man.
Anything you can, Uber, Lyft.
Put towards all of that shit.
You know what I mean? Postmates, DoorDash, whatever it takes. Get your coins. You know, we in Atlanta, cash rides. If you got to do some cash rides, get some coins, you know, and wash them hands.
No, on the upside, right, wash your hands, definitely. Definitely. Now, on the upside about this whole corona situation is the stock market's down, which is for all my investors and anybody who has money to invest or looking to invest.
Entrepreneurs.
Honestly, this would be a great time to definitely tap in for sure.
This is an opportunity.
And I'm going to give you my top 3, just off top. Mm-hmm. So besides the coronavirus, there is a price war as far as oil that's going on the East Coast. Well, not the East Coast, but Middle East. So oil, gas, like Marathon, Exxon, Chevron, petroleum oil, any oil, raw materials, crude oil, all that kind of stuff, that would be definitely a good thing to look into. I ain't gonna give no exact stocks, but definitely do your research on that. As far as like these travel agencies, you got these airlines, Delta. I was finna say Pan Am. That ain't no real shit. I was watching Catch Me If You Can last night. That shit is not real. You got your airlines. You got Delta. You got Southwest. Look into these stocks too, man. Because like I said, they of course we all know they gonna come back up. They gonna continue doing their thing. People gonna get back into their habit of doing things. But while it's down, take advantage of that shit for sure.
I mean, that just lets you know though, like, like you will be smart to take advantage. Like, you know, I plan to take advantage of some of these great stock prices, some of these great opportunities. But for the simple fact that, you know, there's people who owning these stocks, who's owning these, you know, these bonds or whatever the case may be, and they selling like crazy.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, they so paranoid that they selling like crazy.
Exactly.
So, like, you really have to be smart and intelligent to understand that all of this stuff will be back up and booming next year.
Right.
You know, like, this is really the perfect time. All of these stocks, all of these bonds, you know, shout out to Bleeze. I got to get a shout out to my dog, Blake. You know, he keep hitting me saying them Bitcoins. Get you some, like, the Bitcoin. I looked it up yesterday, 6 bands.
Yep. Actually, it went up, but it's down what it was a couple months ago.
Oh, so it went up from 6 bands yesterday?
No, I'm saying it went up from, it was last week, I think it was like 5.
Oh, okay, so it went up a little bit.
Yeah, it went up a little bit.
Yeah, because they talking about digital currency. I read an article about that today, too, in America. But, anywho. But, yeah, the Bitcoin, it's at 6 bands, whatever the case may be. Next year, it's going to be back at 12, 14 bands a coin.
Not even next year, like later on.
Like it's going to be back popping. Right. You know, my baby Bleeze, he like, bro, I'm spending my check on this Bitcoin.
Let's get it.
Like, and, you know, that's inspired. Like, so take a look at these stocks. Take a look at these cryptocurrencies. You know, you got Acorn, which is Acon stuff. You know, you got all these other different things going on. Now, any apps? How can you tap in for real?
Like, trading is so easier now these days for real. You got Acorn, like you mentioned. You got Robinhood. You got E-Trade. All these accounts you can open with no minimum, like, dollars down. Because, you know, like, sometimes when we was doing the foreign exchange, you had to put like a minimum down. Yeah. But like I said, E-Trade, Robinhood, Acorn. Those are the 3 that I know for a fact that you do not need no money down. You can dead ass trade $3 for
real. Trade
and get it cracking for real.
No minimum balance.
And start from there.
Getting to it. So
there is no monthly fee, no surcharges or none of that kind of stuff. I think there is a little charge if you want to.
You can buy and sell straight out the gate.
I know it is a little fees, of course, with the brokerage and trying to.
They gotta make some money.
We're trying to withdraw funds and all that kind of stuff. But to actually get started, there's no money.
No cash down.
And that's pretty much the main objective.
So that's great. Yeah,
facts.
That's
Big
great.
Facts.
So people need to tap into that. You said Acorn,
Robinhood,
E-Trade,
and E-Trade. Big facts. Those are the three that I use.
So yeah, like tap into that. This is the best time while all this coronavirus and things is going on.
Right.
And you know, I will be honest about this whole situation. Like, we even had an episode where we wasn't really like taking it serious to an extent. We kind of like putting emphasis on certain facts and things of that nature, but like when it hit home, it hit home. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my mom was affected by this virus, and like that kind of like that messed with me.
Right.
Like now I'm really like I'm keying and all that. I'm on Twitter, keying, Facebook, liking statuses, woo-de woo. Until my sister calls me yesterday morning, like, mama was in the hospital last night. You know what I mean? And I'm immediately panicking. What you talking about? What do you mean mama was in the hospital? She like, yeah, like, she couldn't feel her left hand. Mm-hmm. Like, she's having pain breathing and stuff like that. She goes to the hospital. The hospital, like, they don't have this stuff figured out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they saying she don't have the symptoms of coronavirus, yet they saying her lung is inflamed. You know what I mean? Like, she's feeling like she's about to die. She's in pain. She can't breathe. And they send her back home, saying she don't have typical symptoms of the coronavirus.
Right.
So, that just had me thinking, like, so all yesterday, I'm pretty much just messed up in the head. I don't know what to think because my mama, she couldn't talk on the phone because it was hurting to breathe. Mm-hmm. So I had to wait till last night to hear from her. So throughout that time, my mind is just racing, and I'm here, I'm there, and I'm realizing how much nobody's taking this serious for real.
Right.
And mind you, she called me. She said she's feeling better. She had Motrin. She feel like it reduced, the inflammatory in her lung or whatever. The breathing wasn't as painful when I did talk to her after she slept all day, stuff like that. So, yeah, she, she felt better by the end of the day, but she thought she was on her deathbed, going to the hospital.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, like, that's, like, I feel like we just not taking this stuff as serious as it really is. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
And it's literally people dying.
Right, exactly. Because, like I said, man, it's this is a serious thing. Even though, like I said earlier, our death rate isn't 30%, but it's still, since it is a real thing, since it is like a global thing too, it ain't just the U.S., it's all over the country for real. Just the fact of hearing, even if they get better, just the fact that even hearing somebody may have it or may have symptoms of it.
To hear my mother say she felt like she was about to die.
Right.
Like, she really said, I don't want to feel this pain. I'd rather just die if I'm dying. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, to hear that from my mama again.
Feel you.
Like, I'm not playing with this shit for real, cuz. Like, that shit is an eye-opener because I'm a mama's boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only motherfucker I really, really care about.
Shout out to Ma Dukes, man. All the prayers and the love go up to you for real. Hopefully,
she better make it through this bit or I'm gonna go crazy. I ain't gonna hold you.
But it's crazy that you say that on a lighter note. So I recently heard like one of the newest symptoms of the virus is you can't taste or smell.
Whoa.
So I was thinking too, I'm like, damn.
I don't know what I'll do.
I'm glad this like actually happened around spring and summertime, because that shit'll suck if this was like the holidays. If it was Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I couldn't taste it.
And you had coronavirus and you can't taste or smell shit.
Oh, Thanksgiving, though?
And you quarantine in the crib and somebody got to send you a plate.
And
you can't taste or smell that bitch.
You ate
Dog.
this great looking turkey.
Dog.
You ate this macaroni and cheese. Looks delicious.
Tell me why.
It looks delicious.
Because I know if I have it, I got to be quarantined. I'm at the crib. So the family house, everybody lit over there.
Right.
So tell me why I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to the family crib. And as soon as I walk in that bitch, I'm coughing on everybody's plate. You got me fucked up. I'm coughing on everybody's plate.
You don't smell nothing.
I don't smell shit. So it's not gonna make me feel. It's gonna make me feel even less. It's not even gonna make me feel bad. Cause I'm gonna walk in there and it smell like air in this bitch. It smell like straight air in here.
Oh, there's food on the table. Oh, you got food?
That shit look good. That food look good as hell. Coughing all over the shit. They go like, damn good. I'm gonna hop my tasteless, smellless ass back in the whip and take my ass back on and quarantine again. Straight quarantine. But that's crazy, man. But yeah, definitely make sure y'all practicing social distancing, man. Because like I mentioned, even though you may not personally be affected, there are other people who are. Yeah. And the main thing about this whole human race thing is we got to stick together, man, for sure. Especially us black folks, for real. So let's stick together. Let's listen to what these people telling us. It could be some bullshit. It may not be. But what do we know?
Right.
What do we know? But speaking of social distancing, this is a serious topic that I've actually been worrying about. Because I know like you can't have real contact with regular people on a regular basis like you normally would. I mean, it changes a lot of things.
Right.
So are booty calls still acceptable? Are booty calls? Can you still get some ass during social distancing?
Is the liquor store still open?
The liquor store's still open.
I need some pussy.
Oh, okay.
The liquor store's still open.
Dog.
I need some booty.
And it's crazy you said that because, like I mentioned, all of the, I guess, I don't know if you would call them minor or whatever, but all of the more, what's it called? The more, what they call the businesses, the essentials. The non-essentials, I guess, whatever a non-essential business is, because every business is essential, to be honest. I mean, somebody is being affected by it.
Right, somebody need that cheese.
Right. So one of the non-essential businesses, though, are liquor stores. And which actually, I made a joke about it, because I know we just said it's a serious thing, but that shit was funny as hell. To say, like, even throughout this crisis, this pandemic, people are dying, people are getting sick, we don't have a cure. We're practicing social distancing. There's a curfew. Whole states are on lockdown.
Right.
You can get you a bottle though.
You still can get fucked up.
You can get you a bottle.
You still can get lit.
Get you a bottle, kid. You gotta sit in the crib by yourself, but you gonna be drunk as hell.
You can be sauce. Don't get it twisted.
You gonna be feeling good in there. So that's the upside to the coronavirus. Stocks are down. Invest your money and go get fucked up. That's my message.
Get you a bottle.
That's my message,
so
man.
Julio, if I might suggest myself.
Have you some fun, man. 1942 is not on sale, but it's still open. You can still go buy it for sure.
Did.
Definitely. But man, I think that's it. I think we tapped out for the night. So yeah, I am Jeremy Oneall. Like we mentioned before, man, this is my famous co-host Marsell Basi in the building.
You know, and I can't let y'all go without leaving y'all with a quote.
As always.
You know what I mean?
As always.
Excuse me, that's not Corona. But I would like for everybody, to consider this.
Get on this side. Let me get on this side.
You dig. So.
Well, no, when you get your 1200 cut, just break me off because you coughed over here.
Dog.
Well, go ahead.
No, all right. So, quote of the day is, pain cannot be both intolerable and lasting.
There we go.
You know, pain can't both be intolerable and lasting. That means you either can't tolerate it no more and you're going to change something, or you are able to tolerate the pain and it's just going to last forever.
There we go. And that's it, man. So like our takeaways from today's episode, man, as far as fear, fuck that shit.
Fuck it.
Live your best life. If you get in any uncomfortable situations, but you feel like it's best for you, do that shit. You will learn so much more from it, more than what you would if you just didn't do it.
Facts.
The coronavirus is serious, so let's all definitely take our precautions, wash our hands, wipe our ass. Hey, and leave some tissue for the rest of us, for real, man, because I ain't trying to buy no rolls from the gas station.
Y'all clearing this shit
y'all going crazy, bro. Like, that's why they got limits, for real. Now you can only buy 2 per. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But as far as fear, man, fuck that shit. Live your best life. Coronavirus, let's take this shit seriously. You heard the quote, pain cannot be intolerable and lasting. So let's rock out, man. Let's do this. Let's make 2020 the best year. Even though we may be at a down moment right now, ain't no other way but to go up from here. And as always, like I mentioned, man, this is Jeremy Oneall, and I got my famous co-host Marsell Basi.
Already.
You can find us on Spotify at AR Radio. You can find us on Apple Podcasts at AR Radio. You can find us on Anchor at AR Radio.
Yes.
And you can find us on YouTube now at AR TV.
Yes.
We just tapped in.
Yes.
We tapped in.
Follow us on Instagram, alreadyrich.kw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Follow us on Facebook, alreadyrich_KW. Hey, man, we doing big things, man. Already Rich, tap in, merch on the way.
Merch is on the way. So like I said, man, if you want to plug into us personally, Instagram is I am Jeremy Oneall. That's Oneall with 2 L's at the end. So that's JEREMYONALL. LL. No Cool J, just LL. And Marsell, go ahead and shout out your tag, bro.
Yeah, man. Follow my photography page, Shot by Marsell, SHOT by MARS, not a C, MARSELL. Follow me also on my personal page, Marsell Basi, which is Marsell BASI. I'm on Twitter, same user handle. Facebook, Marsell Basi. Tap in with me if you need some photos, anything of that nature. I'm your guy.
Big facts, man. As always, this is Tap In, the hottest podcast in Atlanta, Georgia, brought to you by AR Radio. Just tap in, and we tapping out.
Yeah,